All right, so I want to go over this intervention argument a little bit just to make sure everyone has a good sense of what to expect for the second paper. So first things first, you actually have an option with this project. You can write a 750-word paper, so it's a little bit shorter than our first essay, or you can actually do a 6-minute recorded presentation. And so that's about equivalent of 750 words. It's up to you. If you wanted, you could also do this as a group presentation with one person or up to 3 other people. And so that's another option. I know it's an online class. And so, it's kind of up to you if you'd like to do this solo. If you're interested in working with a partner, maybe you know someone else in the class, feel free to work with someone else. Okay, and so moving on though, basically what we're going to be doing for this project is looking at an argument that's taking place in the real world. And the place that we're going to do this is on this Reddit forum called Am I the A-hole? Let me go ahead and pull this up for you. But basically, this is a forum where people post sort of interpersonal conflicts that they're having. And they're literally asking the question, am I the a-hole for, and then they'll tell us the situation that occurred. Okay, and so basically we have a few options for, how we can respond to these types of questions. They're literally asking for people to vote. And so they'll say, am I the a-hole? That's what AITA means. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend her baby is the reason no one wants her around? Yikes, that sounds really harsh. But I bet once we read this, we're actually going to find there's a little bit more nuance in this one. There might be a little bit more where we're like, oh, wow, I really thought that sounded harsh. But now that I'm listening to her, I think maybe I kind of think she has a point. Sometimes you'll notice that the titles can be a little clickbaity, meaning they're trying to get you to click on it. And then once you click on it, you'll realize it's actually not as bad as it sounds. And sometimes it's worse than it sounds. So just kind of be prepared for that. Okay, and so, but what they're asking for is for people to comment. The way it's automatically going to be organized is by hot. And so what this means is it's new and a lot of people are engaging with it. And so you can change it to different ways of organizing it. Like you can look at the newest ones. Sometimes those are going to be kind of weird. People aren't really engaging with them. That's why they're not on this hot category. Top can be a good one where you have kind of the most popular posts. But what you'll do is you'll click on this. This is only 6 hours ago. It already has 1,000 comments. And you'll see here, there's some text. Okay. Now this is a pretty long one. And I would just like to say, the longer, typically the better with these, because what's going to happen is you're going to analyze these. And so you can take out these, these little details and use them in your own argument. And so a lot of the times, the shorter the post that you choose, the harder it's going to be to write the paper. So just keep that in mind. You probably want to choose a longer one, even though it may seem harder at first. It's actually going to make writing the paper a lot easier and faster. Okay, and so you'll see if you scroll down, you'll see different responses that people have. NTA, that means not the a-hole. Agreed, NTA, NTA. So you can kind of see what the trend is based on whatever it is that people are asking. Let me go back to the previous page because I just want to show you, there's a brief description of the page here. You can see there's currently 75,000 people online. There's 11 million members of this forum. Okay, and then there's rules you can see here. And then down here, though, this is the stuff that I wanted to point out. We have a little bit of the acronyms that we'll see used on this site. And it's good to familiarize yourself with these because it'll help you kind of understand what people are talking about on the posts. So YTA just means you are the a-hole. Yes, the people agree that you have done something wrong in this situation. NTA, not the a-hole. You haven't done something wrong. ESH means everyone sucks here. And what that basically means is that, yes, you've done something wrong, but the other person also did something wrong. And so there's really no one to root for in this situation. Everybody has done something wrong. And then finally, NAH, which means no a-holes here, or in other words, nobody's really done anything wrong. A lot of times this is about like a miscommunication, or it can be kind of like a silly story where the stakes aren't high enough to actually say someone is an a-hole. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to just go ahead and show you what this site is, how it works a little bit. And then let's go back to this. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a post, and then you are going to make a decision about whether or not the person who's written the post has done something wrong, whether or not they are the a-hole in the situation, okay? And then what you're going to do is you are going to write a paper or a presentation supporting your argument one way or the other. Okay, and let me just pause for a second. Okay, so I just wanted to pause because I apparently forgot to put these on our Canvas, but I'll correct that. I have a suggested outline for this paper that I think will be really helpful in helping you figure out kind of how you want to structure everything and maybe what kind of information you want to get. I recommend starting your introduction talking about a more general theme that the post is about. So it might be about family, it might be about, parenting, it might be about graduation, it might, whatever the theme is. And then you start to hone in on what is the main conflict, right? That might be in your thesis statement, or you might just describe it at the beginning. And then you'll have each side just described. So you'll have a summary of each side's argument about what happened and why they think they did the right thing. All right. And then after that, you want to make sure that you support one side or the other. So the way that I structured this is based on a paper that I wrote that I'll share with you. Support one is a source that you'll find outside of Reddit to back up the argument that you're making. So I use an article from the Washington Post. You could use an article from, a lot of students do like psychology related articles to talk about kind of relationship dynamics and things like that. It's kind of up to you what source you want to choose, and it's really based on where you think the crux of the argument is, but we'll talk about some ideas for kind of what types of sources could be helpful. Another type of support you can use here, if applicable, is personal experience. And so if there's some sort of anecdotal evidence that you have that would help support the argument that you're making, then that's something that you can include here. And that's what I did in my paper. And then 3 is typically what we do is we create a sort of logical rule that says, here is why what you did was wrong, or here's what you did was right. And then in the future, you should do this, moving forward, basically. Okay. And so I'll show you kind of what that means too. And then finally, you'll have a conclusion. A lot of times this is actually where the person puts their thesis statement. Sorry, I have to pause again. My cat is going crazy. Okay, I'm back again. Apparently I was sitting on his blanket. Okay. And so, yeah, this is where a lot of people will put their thesis statement is in the conclusion. And so that's where you'll want to make sure you say, this person did something right, or this person did something wrong, and then make sure you explain why. And of course, the whole paper has been making an argument about why. And so you really just want to be able to quickly summarize the main point of your argument about why this thing was wrong.